Hi everyone and welcome to Metal Flesh. Today I will rank the entire Anathema discography, including a few EPs. I'm going to rank them from Getting the Bean all the way up to From Here to Eternity. From each release I'm going to pick two songs as the highlight songs. I will try to stay away from the obvious hit songs. We are going to kick things off with the Crestfallen. It's an EP that came out in 1992. This one is Anathema's debut release as a serious force within the emerging death doom scene. The riffs are crushing. Terrence White's vocals, they sound like a tortured like vocals, and it just suits perfectly the atmosphere, the bleak atmosphere. You can actually hear his tortured vocals performance on songs like They Die. The production is understandably raw, it lacks clarity, but the songwriting is surprisingly mature for such an early release, and this release laid the foundations for everything that followed within the Anathema catalogue. As it is an EP, I'm going to pick up one song. I will go with The Sweet Suffering. For me, this one is a solid release. It's going to go to a B tier. Serenades followed 1993. This is the band's debut full-length album, which expands considerably a lot of the ideas they introduced on the Crestfallen EP. The compositions are longer, darker, and more ambitious, with occasional moments of gothic and beautifully emerging throughout the immersive doom. The production is on a similar pace as the previous release, but it doesn't take away from the excellent guitar work that you can hear. For me, highlights here will be Sleepless and Sweet Tears. For me, this is another B-tier release, slightly better than Crestfallen. It's just going to go right here. Following this, we've got another EP called Pentecost 3. This one's overlooked. Pentecost 3 acts as the perfect bridge between the Serenades and the Silent Enigma. The songs retain the band's heaviness while introducing increasingly some melodic touches here and there. You can actually hear we've got stronger emotional dynamics, so you can hear like all these different emotions happening in the background. Although this is not an essential purchase for all the people, it does contain some beautiful moments. It does deserve some recognition. As there's an EP, I'm just going to go with one song here. I will pick up Kingdom on this one. For me, this is another B. I'm just going to put it on a C release, only because of what followed after that. 1995, we see the release of The Silent Enigma. We've got Vincent Kavanagh on vocal duties and guitar duties. Here, Vincent is giving Anathema a more emotional and distinctive identity. Although it is rooted on death doom, we have got some slightly cleaner vocals when compared to Mr. White's vocal performances. We've got some amazing tracks such as Restless Oblivion, Sunset of AIDS, that demonstrates a band that is rapidly outgrowing the genre that they helped to create. The production, although it remains slightly rough, you can actually hear how the musicianship and the songwriting has taken a significant leap forward. Highlights for me will be A Dying Wish and Sunset of an Age. For me, this is a very strong release. I'm just going to put it on an 8 here. 1996, we see the release of Eternity. This, for me, is the most amazing album Anathema has ever put out. This, for me, is perfect from start to finish. Right. This album completely changed Anathema's future. The death metal influences are almost entirely just abandoned in favor of this atmospheric gothic rock and alternative rock and a few progressive elements that Anathema just managed to take and attach to the music. Every song feels deeply emotional and personal. Songs such as Angelica, Hope and Far Away are standing among the band's greatest compositions. The production here is better when compared to the earlier Death Doom era of the band. For me, highlights will be Eternity Part 1 and The Beloved. For me, this one is a From Here to Eternity release. 1998, we see the release of Alternative 4. Many fans consider this as the emotional peak of Anathema's career, and it is kind of difficult to argue with that. Duncan Patterson's songwriting reached an extraordinary new height, producing like loads of classic songs such as Fragile Dreams, Lost Control and Empty. The atmosphere here is quite melancholic. The composition's absolutely fantastic, and it's an album that you have to listen from start to finish. There is no filler, but you have to be emotionally ready to listen to this album. For me, highlights will be Fragile Dreams and the amazing perfect Alternative 4. For me, this is a From Here to Eternity release right there. The following year we see the release of Judgment. For me, this is the most accessible album compared to its predecessor, and it's more powerful and more straightforward than Alternative 4. Here we've got some amazing up-tempo songs and a few ballads such as Deep and One Last Goodbye and Judgment, which balances brilliantly the melancholic sides with memorable melodies, and the production is noticeably more clearer. There are no weak tracks, and this one makes another genuine masterpiece. For me, highlights here will be Judgment and Deep. For me, this one is another From Here to Eternity release. 2001, we see the release of A Fine Day to Exit. From this point on, for me personally, Anathema has like taken a dip down and then picked up on the career, like good spikes and then another drop. Right, A Fine Day to Exit. This is a transitional album, sees Anathema moving further towards alternative and progressive rock. We have got some good songs here and there. The album opens up with Pressure, which is among the strongest tracks in the album. Also, we have got a lengthy closing song which demonstrates how the band has grown ambition in their compositions. However, the middle section of the album loses quite a lot of momentum, a few skippable or filler tracks here and there. I've tried to force myself in a way to like this album. It's just, yeah, it doesn't do it for me. Highlights though will be Panic and Pressure. For me, that drops significantly to a C tier. A Natural Disaster came in 2003. Right, okay, so we've got Lee Douglas that has become a permanent vocal asset to Anathema's lineup. She has added quite a lot of beautiful construct and it just brings a nice, colourful addition to Vincent's vocal delivery. Songs such as Flying and Are You There and Closer creates a nice immersive atmosphere that rewards like repeated listeners. It's quite slow pacing. The band here started to incorporate quite a lot of electronic elements here and there. Yeah, I don't revisit this very often. Highlights for me will be Closer and Pulled Under 2000 meters a second. For me, this is another C tier release. I'm just going to put it just in front of A Fine Day to Exit. 2008, quite a lengthy gap between these releases. We see the release of Hindsight. Anathema here, rather than releasing simple acoustic recordings of old songs, they've completely reinvented many of the fan favorites using cellos and violins and unfamiliar music instruments for Anathema. Right, this release isn't essential. It doesn't really add anything. It's nice to hear like different variations of the old classics, and this one does contain one new song. Highlights for me will be Unsaint and A Natural Disaster. Is it essential? Not really. I'm just going to put it on, I don't know, like a D tier release. 2010, we see the release of We're Here Because We're Here. After years away from the studio and having an actual studio release of brand new material, Anathema returned back with one of their finest comeback albums in progressive rock. Every song feels well crafted, balancing uplifting melodies with emotional and melancholic vulnerability. Songs like Thin Air, Dreaming Light and Universal remains the career highlights, while the production is warm, spacious and absolutely gorgeous. The highlights for me will be Angels Walk Among Us and A Simple Mistake. For me, this is an A tier release. It's going to go right here. Falling Deeper is an orchestrational reinterpretation of older material, like really old material, like from their Death Doom era. Anathema here took those old Death Doom songs, stripped them down, completely rearranged them with loads of keyboards and emotional vocals and great melodies. It works really well. The production is clear, excellent. I tend to revisit this quite a lot. I'm sure it's not for everybody, but sometimes I do like to listen to the older material in a different take with keyboard orientation. For me, highlights will be Crestfallen and Kingdom. I'm just going to put this on a B tier. 2012 we see the release of Weather Systems. This one is a great progressive rock album, and I believe the last really good Anathema record released to date. The songwriting is breathtaking from start to finish, the production is immaculate, and every performance feels like it's heartfelt. Untouchable, The Gathering of Clouds are among the Anathema peak songwriting. This album, it's another one that you have to listen from start to finish. There is no weak point, absolutely fantastic. Highlights for me will be Untouchable Part 1 and the beginning and the end. For me, this is another A-tier release. I don't know whether it's better than We're Here Because We're Here or not. I'm just going to put it just a tat behind We're Here Because We're Here. Distant Satellite saw the light in 2014. Here the band embarked like an electronic texture on their songwriting. The band here tried to do something new again, and they just released like an experimental album. The first half feels stronger, while the electronics tends to overtake quite a lot of the music. This one is not memorable as Weather Systems. I've tried it many times to get into this album. I just couldn't do it. Highlights from it will be Anathema and Distant Satellites. I'm just going to put this on a D tier release. The Optimist in 2017. It's the band's latest and what it looks like the final album. The band here went for a darker sound, loosely connected to A Fine Day to Exit. This album contains a lot of layered songwriting, a lot of emotional depth. The production is superb. We have got some good highlight songs here and there. Again, I find it really difficult to get into this album. I've tried to get into it many times, and I just seem to go back to their earlier career. Highlights for me will be Endless Ways and Can't Let Go. For me, this is a D tier. I'm just going to put it right here, just before Distant Satellites. So there you have it, the entire Anathema discography, ranked from Get in the Bin all the way up to From Here to Eternity. Till next time, stay metal.